A patient with a terminal illness having to end their life in pain sounds like a way less comforting idea in comparison to euthanasia, which is putting someone to death out of, I guess, mercy, painlessly. There's no point in prolonging the inevitable death of a patient who has like a bad day every day. There's no point in them living anymore. Like, for instance, when they vomit or something, they have to wait for the nurse to come, and they just have to wait for the nurse and for assistance, and they have to depend on other people. And like even doing something simple as lifting a fork to eat, and that gets very frustrating. That brings me to my major claim, which is euthanasia is necessary in order to relieve patients of terminal illnesses in their pain and suffering. My three secondary claims include one, which is some background on something also known as physician-assisted suicide. Euthanasia, number two, which is euthanasia that is needed by patients of terminal illnesses to reduce pain and suffering. And three, how euthanasia allows for dignified death and like proper grieving from the family. First is the background. To fill you in a little bit, it dates back to the 5th century, and it has always been known as something that's done out of mercy from the doctors or whatever they had back then. And it has, however, remained controversial through means of compassion and religion. When one side would say end the suffering, the other side would say they're playing God, and you can't do that because that's breaking one of the 10 commandments, which is thou shalt not kill. But it has changed. It changed during the Great Depression in the 1930s. More people started supporting it, but it changed back in the 1940s during World War II, when the Nazis used it as like involuntary euthanasia, used it for the other. This love-hate relationship between the citizens and their support for this has continued back and forth to this day, yet it has remained illegal in 47 states. As a result of this being illegal, patients are forced to this frustration and the pain from the sickness. And as stated by Sherwin Newman, professor of surgery at Yale School of Medicine, it's not allowing a patient to end their life with dignity and free from pain is inhuman and leads to an increase in the callousness of society and development of disregard for quality of life in the face of choices quantity of life. That means, like, instead of caring about how people live their life and if they're happy or how they feel, it's being replaced by how long they live. And that really doesn't matter anymore in the end. So, people against euthanasia, their reason would be that the reason they want to end their life is because they're depressed. But the truth is that the sickness is what makes them depressed. I mean, who wouldn't be depressed if you didn't have motivation in your life anymore? You couldn't do things by yourself. You would be in pain every day, just staring at the ceiling and just waiting for someone to come visit you, and knowing that you're going to have to go through another day of this, day after day, until you die eventually. Which brings me to my third and final point, that euthanasia provides relief and proper grieving. It is, as opposed to this final and horrible experience in the patient's life, it is possible to leave in a dignified manner. It not only puts the patient at ease, but the family as well. The statistics from the British Medical Journal shows that family copes better when loved one passes from euthanasia versus prolonged inevitable death and natural. The family is more prepared and is less traumatic for them. So, in conclusion, looking at both sides of the argument, when you take both of them into consideration, a prolonged treatment for an inevitable death, there is no purpose to it. It violates the citizen's right to live as well as the right to not live. And with the help of euthanasia, everyone gets to say their goodbyes, and the patient is laid down to their peaceful natural sleep.
All right, the visualization that you have as your attention device, I'm not sure it's particularly strong. You need something that focuses a little bit more on the justification for why people would want to end their life. You do state the proposition pretty clearly. I thought that it was phrased appropriately. Your first supporting point's not a claim, it's really just background information. You did give us a good preview of what the supporting points are going to be. Your internal signposting was fine, so it's relatively easy to follow. The supporting information, I didn't hear any supporting information that says that people are suffering because of diseases. I didn't hear any information that says that they're going through pain. I didn't hear any information that says that their pain cannot be relieved any other way. I just heard value arguments that said we're making a choice that total amount of life is worth more than the quality of life, and that's a value claim as opposed to a factual claim. So you need some factual information about the pain and suffering that patients go through. What percentage of patients cannot get relief from the pain and suffering that they have because of an illness? How much longer is their life going to go, and what kind of suffering are they going to go through? Your argument about depression is actually a rebuttal argument on an issue. Instead of advancing a claim for your argument, is an attempt to preempt an argument that might be coming from the other side. I didn't think that the background information on America's attitudes about euthanasia really advances your claim one way or the other, except again it emphasizes that this is a value argument primarily instead of being about what the implications are of people who are not allowed to have access to euthanasia. The one place where I thought there was some argument about a factual issue is a potential benefit of euthanasia, and that is that the families can cope more effectively because they know what's coming and they know how to plan and those kinds of things. And maybe that's the way that the proposition should be phrased, that there are substantial benefits to euthanasia, and that could be one of the benefits. But if you're going to focus on something that's supposed to be a relief to the patients, you need to show us that they need to be relieved, that they can't be relieved in any other way, and that euthanasia does in fact do the relieving, although I assume that once they're gone, they probably don't have the problems anymore. All right, thank you.